I've thought about this moment for a long time, probably longer than I should have, not in the way people think of planning or scripting it, but in the quiet hours when no one is watching, when the world feels distant, and the only thing that matters is the truth in your chest. Love is strange that way. It can be fierce, it can be gentle, and sometimes it's just stubborn. It insists even when we don't want it to, even when we hurt, even when we fail. And yet, here I am, still believing, still wanting, still holding. I won't speak in grand gestures or promises I can't keep. I won't speak with firework words or dramatic poetry. I'll speak with the words I know to be real, the words that carry weight not because of their sound, but because of their sincerity. I've loved you quietly, fully, and without condition. And today, I'm here to ask something that I've only ever asked once in my heart, and that I will ask now calmly, truly, finally. Will you marry me? It's the last time I'll ask, not because I doubt, but because I want this to be the moment where honesty, love, and commitment meet. Not because it's a question, but because it's a promise, silent, steady, unshakable. Love is not what movies make it out to be. It is not fireworks, dramatic declarations, or the perfect alignment of fate. Real love is quieter. It is slower, heavier, and more enduring than the excitement that first draws two people together. When we meet someone and the world seems lighter for a moment, that's a travesty, that's a spark. But love, true love, is the slow burn that continues even when the spark dies down. It is the commitment we make to someone when they are messy, when they are broken, when they fail, and when we ourselves are not perfect. Love, in its essence, is an intentional act. It is a decision we make, moment by moment, not something that merely happens to us. Commitment is not about the grand gestures or the public announcements. It is about the small, daily choices to show up, to be present, and to honor the person you have chosen. Commitment means choosing someone even when the days are ordinary, even when you feel tired, frustrated, or distracted by the world outside. It is waking up in the morning and thinking, I will love you today, again, even if it's hard. It is going to sleep at night knowing that your heart is tethered not to an idea, but to a person. That tether requires patience, understanding, and humility. It requires us to accept that neither of us will ever be perfect. And yet, in that imperfection, we find the real beauty of connection. Many people fear commitment because they confuse it with possession or control. They imagine that to commit is to lose freedom, to be trapped, or to be responsible for another person's happiness. But true commitment is not ownership, it is partnership. It is recognizing that two individuals, whole on their own, can choose to build something greater together. It is a mutual decision to grow alongside each other, to support and to challenge one another with love rather than fear. Commitment asks us to step outside of ourselves and to see the world through the eyes of another human being, to honor their hopes, their vulnerabilities, and their inner life with the same respect we would give our own. In the quiet moments, the ones no one sees, love is tested. It is tested in the mundane routines of life, the disagreements about money, the frustration over small habits, the exhaustion that comes from work or stress, the pain of past wounds resurfacing. Love is not proven in the moments of passion or joy. It is proven in the moments when we are tired, when we are hurt, when we want to turn away but choose instead to stay. Choosing to stay is the most profound act of love. To commit is to anchor yourself to someone else's life, to embrace the responsibility of being a safe harbor for their heart, knowing they will do the same for you. Trust is the foundation upon which commitment stands. Without trust, love is a fragile illusion. Trust is not simply believing someone will be faithful or kind, it is believing that they will hold your heart with care, even when they are not thinking about it, that they will honor the unspoken promises, that bind you together. Trust is built slowly, brick by brick, through consistency, honesty, and vulnerability. And once broken, it takes courage, humility, and forgiveness to rebuild. Commitment is the choice to trust again, to risk your heart, even after it has been wounded, and to offer loyalty, not out of obligation, but out of genuine faith in the other person. Love requires patience, especially with ourselves. Many of us come into relationships carrying old wounds, insecurities, and fears. We seek validation, reassurance, or escape, often expecting our partner to heal us or complete us. But no one can do that. Love thrives when we are willing to face our own shadows, to acknowledge our fears, and to grow alongside someone else, rather than expecting them to fix us. Commitment is about recognizing that both people are works in progress and choosing to walk together, even when the path is uneven or unclear. It is about holding space for each other's growth, supporting each other through failures, and celebrating each other's small victories with genuine joy. In committed love, forgiveness is essential. There will be moments when words are spoken in anger, when actions hurt, when promises are broken. In these moments, we are faced with a choice: to hold resentment, to seek revenge, or to extend understanding and compassion. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is an act of courage and clarity. It is saying, I see your humanity, I see your flaws, and I choose to continue walking this path with you. Commitment is inseparable from forgiveness. It is recognizing that we are all imperfect and choosing to embrace one another despite that imperfection, not because it is easy, but because it is meaningful. Love and commitment are also acts of presence. In a world that is constantly moving, full of distractions, technology, and noise, to truly be present with someone is a radical act. It is listening without judgment, speaking with honesty, and showing that the person before you matters more than any obligation, distraction, or desire for convenience. Presence is quiet but powerful. It is the small gestures, holding a hand during a difficult day, sitting together in silence, sharing the mundane details of life with genuine attention. These moments, often unnoticed by the world, are the glue that holds relationships together. They are the daily affirmations of love that speak louder than any grand declaration ever could. Commitment also asks for courage, the courage to be vulnerable, the courage to communicate openly, and the courage to face uncertainty together. No relationship is immune to doubt, fear, or loss. There will be challenges that feel insurmountable, moments when leaving seems easier than staying. But love demands that we meet these challenges not with avoidance, but with empathy, honesty, and resilience. To commit is to say, I will face the difficulties of life with you, not because it is convenient, but because you are worth the struggle. And in that choice, we find the extraordinary power of ordinary love. Respect is inseparable from love and commitment. Respecting someone means honoring their individuality, their choices, their dreams, and their boundaries. It means understanding that love is not about molding someone to fit our desires, but supporting them in becoming the best version of themselves. Commitment without respect becomes possessiveness. Love without respect becomes selfish. The beauty of lasting commitment lies in the delicate balance of intimacy and autonomy, closeness and freedom, support and independence. Love is also about resilience. Life will test us. Circumstances will challenge us. People will change. But commitment is the steadfast promise to navigate these changes together, to bend without breaking, and to hold each other close even when the storm is raging. Resilient love is not immune to difficulty. It is strengthened by it. It is the deep understanding that we are two humans, imperfect and fragile, choosing to endure the trials of life hand in hand. There is also a quiet humility in true commitment. It is not boastful or self-congratulatory. It does not demand recognition or applause. It thrives in the background, in the small, steady acts of love that often go unnoticed. It is saying without words, I am here. I am yours. I will honor you. That humility is what makes love enduring because it is not contingent on ego, performance, or external validation. It exists simply because it is chosen day after day quietly, sincerely, and without fanfare. The truth about love and commitment is that it is both simple and profoundly difficult. Simple, because it comes down to showing up, being present, and choosing someone with intention. Difficult, because it demands emotional labor, self-reflection, patience, and courage. It is a lifetime of small, consistent decisions that together form the unshakable foundation of trust, loyalty, and intimacy. It is a practice, a discipline, and a journey that requires both strength and softness. Commitment asks us to embrace not just the joys, but also the sorrows, not just the laughter, but also the tears, not just the ease, but also the challenges. It asks us to see someone fully, their beauty and their flaws, and to love them anyway. It asks us to remain steadfast when love feels inconvenient, when passion fades, when the world outside demands attention and energy. And it asks us to celebrate the ordinary, because it is in the ordinary that life truly unfolds, in shared meals, quiet conversations, moments of comfort, and the silent knowledge that someone is walking this path beside us. And so, when I speak of love and commitment, I do not speak lightly. I do not speak of fantasy or idealized romance. I speak of what is real. I speak of the daily courage to choose someone over your fears, to honor someone over your own convenience, to grow together through the ordinary, imperfect, and sometimes painful journey of life. That is the truth of love. That is the truth of commitment. It is not easy, but it is worth everything. It is not fleeting, but enduring. It is not for the faint of heart, but for those willing to open themselves fully, sincerely, and bravely to another human being. And in this quiet, unassuming truth, there is a beauty that surpasses any spectacle, a love that is chosen again and again, a bond that deepens over time, a commitment that stands firm, not because it is demanded, but because it is freely given. That is the essence of what it means to truly love, to truly commit, and to truly build a life with someone whose heart you cherish as deeply as your own. Love is never without its wounds. Even the deepest, most sincere love will encounter moments of pain, misunderstanding, and disappointment. We carry with us the echoes of past heartbreaks, the scars of relationships that didn't last, the disappointments that shape the way we view connection. And yet, to love fully, we must allow ourselves to be vulnerable again. Healing is not about forgetting or erasing the past. It is about acknowledging it, understanding it, and choosing not to let it define the future. Every relationship asks of us the courage to meet the present moment unguarded, to offer our hearts, even though they bear the marks of previous hurt. Healing in love is an ongoing process. It is quiet work, often invisible to the world, consisting of introspection, honesty, and the willingness to confront our own shortcomings. It is asking ourselves why certain patterns repeat, why old fears rise unbidden, and being brave enough to answer with truth rather than denial. Forgiveness, too, is a discipline. It is easy to forgive when someone offers an apology, when the harm is slight, or when the world witnesses our pain. It is far more profound to forgive when the hurt is deep, when pride tempts us to hold on to resentment, when anger whispers that the other person does not deserve it. Forgiveness is not excusing wrong behavior or pretending it did not happen. It is a conscious decision to release the weight of that pain, to free ourselves from carrying bitterness that corrodes intimacy and trust. It is a gift we give not only to the other person, but also to ourselves, a reclamation of peace and a reaffirmation that love is stronger than our wounds. In committed love, forgiveness is entwined with choice. To stay in a relationship, to honor it daily, is to make the active decision to see the person before us, not just as they are in moments of failure. but as they are in totality, their goodness, their struggles, their capacity for growth. Choosing someone daily is the quiet miracle of enduring love. It is waking each morning and deciding, I will love you today, I will honor you, I will walk this path with you. And some days, that choice is harder than others. Some days, the world outside presses in with pressures, frustrations, and fatigue. Some days, doubt creeps into our hearts, and the mind asks why we continue when love feels inconvenient, when it feels messy, when it feels painful. Those are the days when love's true depth is revealed. It is easy to stay when everything is perfect. It is easy to feel love when joy is abundant. But it is in the moments of struggle, the moments when wounds flare, when egos collide, and expectations are unmet, that the practice of love is forged. Choosing someone in those moments requires humility, patience, and unwavering commitment. It requires the recognition that love is not a fleeting emotion, but a sustained, intentional act. We must choose to see the humanity in one another, to understand that imperfection is not a flaw to reject, but a reality to embrace. Healing also demands patience, not only with our partner, but with ourselves. We cannot love fully if we deny our own growth or ignore our own pain. We must tend to our inner life with care, acknowledging where we carry hurt, guilt, or fear, and nurturing the parts of ourselves that need attention. Only by healing from within can we bring wholeness into a shared life. In this process, we learn empathy. We begin to see that the moments when our partner falters, when they act from fear or insecurity, are not attacks, but invitations to understand. We learn that holding space for their growth is as important as insisting on our own. Forgiveness, healing, and daily choice are intertwined threads in the fabric of enduring love. They are the quiet acts that build resilience, deepen intimacy, and transform ordinary moments into profound connection. In practicing them, we discover that love is not just about what is felt, but what is done. The patience to listen, the humility to apologize, the courage to remain when leaving is tempting, the steadfastness to choose again and again. And through these acts, we create a relationship that is not only passionate, but also stable, not only joyful, but also secure, not only fulfilling, but also deeply sustaining. Love, in this sense, is both gentle and powerful. It softens our edges, heals our scars, and yet challenges us to become better versions of ourselves, not by perfection, but by persistence. Choosing someone daily, forgiving their missteps, and embracing the process of mutual healing is the quiet rhythm that keeps a relationship alive. It is the heartbeat beneath the excitement, the undercurrent beneath the laughter, the invisible force that binds two imperfect humans together in a covenant of care, respect, and enduring affection. And in this practice, we learn the ultimate truth: love is never passive. It requires attention, awareness, and deliberate action. It is a conscious cultivation, a commitment renewed in silence, in the small gestures, in the choices that go unnoticed by the world, yet are witnessed by the heart. To heal, to forgive, to choose daily, is to participate in love as it was always meant to be: courageous, humble, and transformative. It is to accept that the person you love is not an ideal to be admired, but a real human being, be known, cherished, and chosen over and over again, through every trial and every ordinary day. And in this repetition, in this quiet devotion, love reveals itself not as fleeting desire, but as a living, breathing bond that deepens, strengthens, and endures. Through forgiveness, we release what burdens us. Through healing, we tend to what is wounded. Through choosing daily, we affirm what is eternal: that love is not something that happens to us, but something we create, nurture, and honor in the presence of the one whose heart we hold in our hands. It is in this unbroken practice that we discover the extraordinary truth of love, that it is not fleeting, it is not fragile, it is not dependent on perfection, it is resilient, patient, and unwavering. And when we fully embrace this, when we commit ourselves to healing, forgiving, and choosing, we realize that love has always been more than feelings. It is a covenant, a sacred rhythm, and a conscious devotion that transforms ordinary life into something remarkable, sacred, and everlasting.